Đô lô nông vợ ra chim bình ra nêm bà ra chim bình hèn thà râm bà đàn tham chim chim bình bà ra đê chim bà ra chim tham chim chim thô chim bình hà nông hoa đàn nhâm bê sim chim tham chim đê hoa đàn Đông hệ đàn ra ra nhur đô la na mê bà yang đàn bà ra dông bê zan Rinpoche Thomaran Zahan
Lu kol ba'alei toda'a Rakia ensforim maotai Bimiuchad oivim asher oti son'im מבקשי רעתי אשר פוגעים בי המפריעים ומכשילים את דרכי לשחרור וידיעה לו ידעו אמושר וישתחררו מסבל לו מהר אביא אותם להערה מושלמת יקרה מוחלטת אשר אין כמותה
Dēchēdā sāṅgā mājē jēṅ parantā lēṅgā yēsum gēvā lāṅgō mājēṅ parantā lēṅgā yē gēvā lāṅgō tūdē rēṅgē sōṅdē nyamā sāṅdā tsam jēṅ parantā lēṅgā yēsum gēvā lāṅgō
לפיכך עד הערה אפעל באופן חיובי בגוף דיבור ותודעה עד מותי אפעל באופן חיובי בגוף דיבור ותודעה מעתה ועד מחר בזמן זה אפעל לחיוב בגוף דיבור ותודעה
한중 보른도 나네 저선지 당근정 소진 벼토남지 홀라 벤스러사 럼버러유
바부다 바다마 바상가하나 알라 עד להערה אקח מקלט בזכות נדיבות ושמידות טובות לו אשיג בודיות לרווחת כולם
מונם חדנם בסמג'ן תמג'ן דוואדם דווג'ודם דמברנג'רנג'ר Dong-e-dan, dong-e-je-je-dan, da-wa-ra-je-ra-je Dong-a-mi-ben-de-wa-dan, da-wa-ra-je-ra-je Nye-ren-cha-dan, nye-dan, da-wa-nyom-la-ne-ba-ra-je-je
לו כל בעלי התודעה רקיע אין ספורים אותה ידעו אושר וסיבות לאושר לו השתחררו מסבל ומן הסיבות לסבל לו לא ייפרדו אף פעם משמחה שאין בה שמץ סבל לו יהיו שרויים בשוויוניות חופשיים מהיקשרות ומדחייה.
Page number 8 short mandala
עמוד 9
Sojem pötje sojem bendondran heralen yenye de jembande sanje yen la men dem provaye dongo Jem hore shung wo sum yon zo la mi cho nan la se nang san sum de yin ni jin chu da le lon ju na se yong ye la la mi chong ge de zaran de zo.
קרקע נרחבת זו משוחה במי בשמים וזרועה בפרחים, מאותרת בהר מרו, בארבע יבשות, בשמש וירח. בהגישי כל זאת כשדה בודה, לו כל בעלי התודעה יזכו באושר שדות התואר. לגורו בעל 3 הקאיות, אגיש מנחה חיצונית, פנימית וסודית. את גופי, הוני ואת כל עולם המופעים. אנא הענק לי את הסידי הנעלה שאין למעלה ממנו הערה.
Om Gurun Devan Ragen Ranama Pardizo San Sarvadan Chejen Shambhandan Jesa Yerang Urjeng Sarvai Gewa Jung Zendan Genje Zampon Tham Jen Zampezan
אקדיש כל חיוביות אשר צברתי בהשתתחות, וידוי, הגשת מנחה, שמחה באושרו של הזולת, הפצרה ותפילה, למען הערה מושלמת של כל בעלי התודעה.
Jam ren jen dom men zam len jen dam ben dong so yong han Jen ben jero wan dor jen chang pan jen ding wen be shav lan de Tien da de sam je che lem he sen je lo shen ton jen je Ning hem ba san he chang sem de ran de dom sen je lo
תכשיט תבל שאין שני לו נותן המחסה, תהילתך נודעת ברחבי 3,000 העולמות. וג'רדרה המנצח ללא עוררין, כבוד לרגליך האב ג'יקטן סומגון. בכל רגע אין דבר אחר לחשוב עליו מלבדך. בחמלתך הענק לי את ברכתך, הסרת החשיכה האופפת את ליבי, ברכני שאתוודע לטבע התודעה הנהדרת מורכבות.
Sem je nam je sambandha lo ye se ra jen da wa che chong te mon te ba ye chi jen ho lo ngoran de notice next
אנא סובב את גלגל הדרמה של 2 המרכבות, הגדולה והקטנה, והתרגולים המשותפים להן, בהתאם לנטיותיהם וליכולתם של כל בעלי התודעה. עמוד 28, המזמור. כל עוד לא גמלה בלבך ההחלטה להדאיר את סוס האהבה והחמלה על ידי עזרה לזולת, תשועות האלים ובני האדם לא תשמענה בכיכר העיר. לפיכך שנס מותניים ושקוד בתודעה זו המקדימה. כל עוד רובך שלך מלך הצורות הנשגבות טרם כבש את כס הבסיס הנצחי, אספת הדקיניות האימהות לא תתקהלנה סביב. לפיכך שנס מותניים ושקוד בגוף האידם הנשגב. כל עוד שמש המסירות לא זרחה על הר השלג של 4 קאיות הגורו, פלגי הברכה לא יזרמו. לפיכך שנס מותניים ושקוד בתודעה זו, התמסרות. כל עוד חשרת ענני ההמשגות טרם התפזרה ברקיע התודעה עצמה, הפלנטות והכוכבים של הידיעה כפולת הפנים לא יזהרו בבהירות. לפיכך שנס מותניים ושקוד בתודעה חפה ממחשבה. כל עוד לא מרקת באמצעות תפילות שאיפה את אבן החן מגשימת המשאלות של 2 הצבירות, הפרי המיוחל לא יבשיל. לפיכך שנס מותניים ושקוד בהקדשה זו הנקודה הסופית.
Mer
So then today, my Dhamma friends, we are going to move to the next point of Mahamudra. And so the essence of the Buddha is this wisdom awareness. And in general, this term Mahamudra is explained in several different ways. But what it refers to, this mudra, it refers to the empty nature of the mind. So when you look at the mind, it is empty in the sense that it can neither said to be existing nor non-existing. So it transcends all of these notions of affirmation and negation and so on. So that's the empty nature of the mind that is also clear. And it is empty like space. So the mind is vast, and that is why it is like space. And now there is this concept of there being an I, which makes the mind experience itself as this solid entity. And then this being, this I, experiences unbearable suffering. And so actually the mind is vast like space. And that's the first point explained when explaining Mahamudra, that the mind is like space. And so the reason why we have not seen the nature of mind is because it is obscured by the clouds of thoughts. So in that root verse it says, unless the gathered clouds of discursive thoughts, the discursive mind does not vanish in the open sky of the mind itself, the planets and stars of the two wisdoms will not shine. And so the discursive mind are like the clouds in the sky. And when there is clouds in the sky, then we cannot see the sky. We can understand that. So the mind, or Mahamudra, is like this cloud-free open sky, like a clear sky. So when we recognize Mahamudra, then we are recognizing the thought-free mind.
시바사오도 시야요 말이 받은 가파미바 타만 네바미바 강은 네네더니 르 뭐가 바로 가데다들 하고 말이 하망은 저거 갑자기 저기 열고 저기 시바진도 대답을 맞더니 문제 되고 말이 그때라 오면다와 같은 별로 지엄면 진바 지엄면 진라와 그 생活 쳤대나 그 생活을 하시면서 하고서 대답을 해서 그 안tik을 하고 하고 특별히 고아 가실 때 고아 차속하고 대도 상한 거래.
So when we explain this nature of Mahamudra, it is explained as this awareness that is clear and empty. So the clarity here means that there is a clear awareness that is conscious of its own empty nature. And so then when you look at this clear awareness that is empty, and all thoughts have stopped and no other thought has yet arisen, so you're looking into that space between thoughts, you experience an awareness that is completely empty, but also fully aware. It is conscious. And that is this clear awareness that has to be recognized. When we recognize Mahamudra, that itself is Mahamudra. And when you understand this, the nature of this awareness, then you experience it as something that transcends all mental elaborations. It is free of the four extremes or limitations and free of all flaws. So this state of Mahamudra is unfabricated and inexpressible. It is co-emergent, an innate awareness that cannot be expressed. So you cannot speak of it. You cannot tell anyone about it, nor can anyone really tell you about it. Because if you try to explain something, then you have to use words. And then when you have to use words, you either have to speak in affirming or in negating ways. But you cannot speak of it in this way. It cannot be expressed with any word or thought. It cannot be spoken of or it cannot be understood as something in an affirming way, something that exists, because it is empty like space. But then you also cannot speak of it in terms of, in a negating way, in terms of non-existence, because it's not that there is nothing, there is also clear awareness. So clarity and emptiness are one union. They are a wholeness that is not separate from each other. But so it's something that cannot be expressed in any way. And therefore the ultimate view is something that you have to decide upon yourself. You have to discover it yourself through your own experience. And you discover it when all dualistic concepts have disappeared. And that is realized by relying on this lineage of practice and blessings. So through practice and blessings, you can realize it, and in no other way, really. So when it is explained in words, then the way it is explained is according to the Madhyamaka, the middle way view, according to the scriptural authorities, the textual tradition. And the ultimate view of the Madhyamaka is to not grasp at anything whatsoever. And in Mahamudra terms, in the Ganges Mahamudra, for example, it says, without thinking anything, look decisively at what lies beyond the mind, beyond the intellect. So you rest in a natural state without thinking anything, without holding on to any thought. So you do not think of the mind in terms of existence and non-existence, not in any way. And you just look at the mind directly. And then you experience a space like nature that is also clear as it is aware. It is a conscious, empty, like vastness. And so slowly you experience this vastness. So it's an experience of slowly becoming vaster until you experience this all-pervasive nature that pervades the entire universe and all beings. So gradually this is recognized through practice. And so we give it the name primordial awareness or wisdom because it has been there, it has always been there since beginningless time. So we cannot say that this is where it started. There is no starting points to it. It has not arisen from anywhere. And meanwhile, it does not abide anywhere. And in the end, it will never cease to be. There is no end to it. A person might die, but then that clear awareness will never cease to be. So it doesn't arise, it doesn't abide, and it never ceases to be. For example, we cannot say where it is right now. We cannot say that it abides in a certain body part, one's head, for example, and so on. For example, if you poke yourself with a needle, then you feel a sensation there. And that is that awareness that experiences the pain of the poke. But then you cannot say it's here or there. It is really anywhere. And so that is the view of the middle way, the Madhyamaka. To not grasp at anything whatsoever and to just let the mind rest in its natural state. And then come to the experience of this is it. And so from this perspective, it might be something that can be understood quite easily. Maybe for some it's more difficult to understand, but this is how we understand the nature of mind.
옛날에 다가 당분 고토가 네 사치요 또데 니는 달라마 교시 마음못 펴고요래 된상 조들이 다와 조들이 야바냐미 제가요 저는 오시들이 가세요 성분대로 하고돼요 데레데 라관나는 땅소.
So before, when we are first introduced to Mahamudra, so there's a way to that. And so in the past, many spiritual teachers have come here to visit you and give you teachings. And especially nowadays in the Western countries, that's sort of the main topic of discussion. We talk about the nature of the mind. So now, first of all, Rinpoche, I would like to ask you, now from your own experience, now, how many of you really think that you have recognized the nature of the mind? Like, have you had this experience where you feel that this is it, this is the nature of the mind, and you're completely certain about it? So if you've had that experience, could you raise your hand?
Yeah, Lapa Majaba Tabsi, Karesi Jacobese. Me no she mazon sanguiorese. No she mazon sanguiti. Quanke, marking on she was on someday. Ben. What's what just said? What's what just marries, Menzona. Oh, what's what just say Hakomazon. Oh, she mazon sanguis, she batter tata for it. Lanzan Teletana, still carry doctor.
So those of you who have not raised your hands, so why have you not raised your hands? It's because you think that maybe you think that I'm not sure if I have recognized the nature of mind. And so the one who thinks that is the nature of the mind. The one who thinks I have not recognized my true nature, that's the one. So that one thinks I don't know myself, basically. So, for example, if you ask who is Gunshuk Yamtsen, which is Rinpoche's name, then I would say it's me. So based on the name, I think that this is me. But now it would be just like thinking, I don't know who that is. When somebody asks, I don't know who that is. So it's the one who thinks that, the one who is aware of that feeling of, I don't know who it is, I don't know what it is. That awareness is the one that you should have a look at, and that's the nature of the mind.
가시게 다치 삶살도 하고 하람삼이 약고도 하고만 조선 그 럼니요래 지금 가리는 남도 찍받지 장리 성사 다 데라 까마치 그런 거 따라 들이 따사요 말이 땀이 대비에 도미 통한 줘도 그냥 통야 매외들이 대시 그거래 양당 징어라 대지 기차상 마동 당이 오시 마저 상비테라 때나 들이대 파라로리 라송들이 라지게 나도 대방가 마고 마치들이 양진한테는 신나하나지 차요 나도 체로리 지거리 오 가야 믿어 사람 다 제주제 하고 강연 매바지 또 남카다 왜시
So now let's meditate for a minute and look at the mind. Look at the one who thinks, I don't know the nature of my mind. So there's basically two kinds of people who think that they don't know the nature of the mind. One is sure that they don't know the nature of mind. It's almost like they have decided they don't know it. I have not recognized it. And the other one is not so sure. The other one thinks that I'm not so sure. Maybe I have seen it partially in a vague, approximate way, but maybe I haven't really understood it or something like that. But whichever one you are, actually is the same, because you're having a thought, and that thought is basically the same in essence. So you're looking at the mind now for a minute or so, and when you're observing the mind, actually you will find that there is nothing to be seen. And it is said that when you view that which cannot be seen, that is the supreme seeing. So there's nothing to be seen. And when you rest within that state where there is nothing to be seen continuously, it really becomes like space. So don't think of anything whatsoever, and just look at the nature of the one who believes that you haven't seen the nature of your mind. And when you look at that one, it becomes lost. There's nothing to be seen. And then just naturally thoughts are interrupted and no other thought arises for some time. And in that gap of thoughts, you see the space-like nature of the mind. So there is this moment where thoughts will be interrupted. And in that moment, then you have this experience of, there's just nothing there. And so this is how we first recognize the space-like nature of the mind.
야보다 저런 그 하고서 타 죽서들은 남지라 반나야 당체 총을 가로대 안에 돈을 주더라고 나는 당거.
So look, take a very good look at the mind, and then for just a very short time, and the moment you feel that now I have understood it, now I know it, then you just, as you know it, raise your hand like that, and if you still have doubts, then just keep sitting.
남도 통귀 남도 매버셈만 통이야 남도 통귀 18세 정모진 거 같이 남도 유세면 내 유체고 선거 유체고 말이 남도 신기 18세 판 남도 많지 저오 남도 저거 당한 통투고 누구세 딱 남도 직접 매번 통고도 선거 대 말이 오 같이 남도 통귀 18세 저기 좀 18세 무슨 18세를 딱 했다네 18세 요일은 나도 샤라라 반로요래 다 제듯이 오 18세를 해야 돼 대충 옷이라 양 옷이래 탑이바세래
So on the one hand we can now recognize the mind that is without thoughts, but then there is even an awareness, the awareness is even here when there are thoughts in the mind. So you can also recognize it when there are thoughts in the mind. Actually, the awareness never actually is interrupted. It's always there. And so when you sustain awareness and you do not cling at whatever thought arises, you just recognize them. That is another method. So thoughts arise and you just recognize that there are thoughts arising. For example, there is that thought of, I cannot see the nature of the mind, I haven't seen it. Or you might think that I must see the mind that is without thoughts. So actually you don't have to see the mind that is without thoughts. You can also recognize the awareness that recognizes the thoughts. So then when you look at that awareness, then there is something that observes, that is conscious of this chain of thoughts that arises within the mind and comes and goes. So that's the second method to recognize the nature of mind, that this awareness. So then next question, so who of you can see the awareness that recognizes the thoughts? Then please raise your hand.
Oh. There 탑이마세 탑대 야가 요래 뭐 시기 시바디다 사제가 누고 싫어지 아그 잠비 도만은 때티 요래 때문에 사제를 잡도 저도 사제 타를 못 차대요 사제로 납장 두전 로차래 상고 요래 때문에 사제 셈디다 다 셈지 타지 줄라 로데데 집바리 로는 대바야 요래 망바야 요래 대처 치니까 더터고 요래 더 맡으면 로드 당만이 요래 용왕을 요래 뺏어서 사자 주고 우서 다 로드 철드는 것을 루미 우와 땅투고 요래지 로지지 제 가액 땅투고 요래 로키니 요래 로키니 세니마 틱 로람지 요나 요 말이 니바테 삼체성 제르더니 다 다 부모님이 그 요래 이런 탑시람이었지 그로 인성들이 로 요래 지금 뭐 신었다 윤진 요래지 18세 고시선 18세 어떤 고시선 시랍 사지는 뭐 시랍데 다 난글라마 은혜지 라마라세 예미들 라마기 팀이 시랍다 사지기 시랍다 랑가다 나도 고심 18세 제발까지도 다 깨달은 거래지 로 로미 송나 뭐 로미 당보 니봐什么 야, 로 찍리라 로 섬리 지다게 당제
So that's the second method, and actually that's the better method anyways. So there's this awareness that recognizes the thoughts that arise. And in the refuge card is that this is the essence of the Buddha. It is this awareness. And that is also why Rinpoche said I made this new refuge card to clarify that, because otherwise people might think that the Buddha is some kind of being far in the distance that was alive like 2,500 years ago or so. But actually, in essence, the Buddha is already inherent within one's own mind stream. And that mind is like light, like energy, like light energy, like electricity. And that's always there. This energy is always there. It has always been there in the past. It will always be there. It's only that scientists know how to access it and like take out its essence in a way to produce light, so they can utilize the naturally present energy of that light that's already there, pervading the 5 elements. So light energy is already there, but we have to like extract its essence. We have to be able to access it. And so basically there is 2 parts to it in order to produce light. One part, the first one, is already present, and that's the naturally pervading energy that's already there, ready to be accessed. And so that's like the mind that's already there. But then the way to access it, to realize it, to produce light, that the method now in the terms of the nature of mind is to cultivate love. And that is like bringing together method and wisdom. Like in this world we have male and female, for example. Now when method is united with wisdom, like two, like that, basically the cable is plugged in, then light is produced, and then the qualities of light emerge. So when you recognize your clear awareness, that awareness is the essence of the Buddha, and that is your inner guru. And that is what we mean when we say your mind is indivisible from the guru's mind. So you have to be clear on really what is there any difference between the guru's mindfulness and the Buddha's wisdom awareness and the awareness that recognizes your own thoughts. So that is something you should look into. Or different sources of light, like light bulbs. And we have 1, 2, or 3 light bulbs. So is it 1 light or is it 3 lights, for example? That's something you should look into.
이 시바사고 대냠도 이 고로 서독다 쳤다. 오 대점도 가래도 대점은 나래대요 나. 오 내시도 자기는 쭉 가서 오 내지 시합도 못서 내 옷이 성도 나다 시합이 카카를 찍래 다상 못한다. 나다 시합이 쭉가 차대요. 제나들이 다 나한테 냠디 마음 봐라 다 가리고래 상당 hin지 따홀라시 나오냐바 데려 쪼지나 들이다 유모벨에서 다 쪼리 다 지방 나서 다 지바데 그나 우리 텐터가 뭐도 마음 봐라 딱 째던 이 요말이 그거는 나 말이 나도 좀 찍다만 거 토야 요 말이 샌드 쪽고 서로 요리데 나오냐바 되냐도 내가 그래서 오 마크 보고 쓰여하냐 이제 마치 짜증 통을 생포대 진리를 뺏는 게 인fin을 놓고 되냐 랩탑 보고 그래 다시 인fin으로 니마치는 만드는 것만 배우면 습진 소리를 피는 거리에서 파파 가리 진게 소름 돋더나 들이 가지는 들은 가지 봐야 뭐 차로 그래 그 저도 나오냐 다시 토말래대요 그래 되는 만진 제오체도 들이 다 hin지 다디 드시바디 다니 드 대단히 오치파리 되게 딱 호하겠죠 나오냐 바디 착해요래
So then look at what comes along with this clear awareness, what is also there. So what comes along with this clear awareness is this thought of I. For example, I know it. So if I ask you, do you know the nature of your mind? You might think, I have recognized it. I know the nature of awareness. And so then you have to see this I and the awareness of it, are they separate or are they one? And so you will find that actually they are one. So there is this I that comes along with this awareness. And now we mentioned before, for that to dissolve, we must ride the horse of love and compassion. Because if we consider this I, this self, as most important, we will accumulate karma with afflictive emotions. And there is no actually real existing I. When you really look into it, it is nowhere to be found. So actually later, after you have died, then the consciousness, the mind just leaves the body. So you are not the body. And then it continues on alone. So this I that you thought you were in this body actually does not exist. So the way the I really also functions when we engage in activities, for example, a mother who loves her child, even when she drinks tea, for example, she still thinks of the child. So what should happen, instead of thinking of I, you think of other. Even if the I, the self, is doing something, you're thinking of other. Like the mother thinking of the child. So this altruistic mind, this care for others, must arise. And for example, when you recite Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, then you keep thinking of, may I benefit sentient beings. So the mind always goes out again and again to others. And in that way, that concept of a self will become lighter. But otherwise, it always arises. It's the first thing that always arises, and we consider it as most important. And it is that precisely, this perception of an I, a self, what we call a maram, or a demon. So actually they are equivalent, Mara or self-grasping. And that concept of I, that is the very cause of samsara.
제라다다 베나 다 되네 로마 랑근나 같이 실리 로마 제나 당에 들은 같이 쉬고 제대로 기뻐 대상부터 대요에 베나 추토를 내가 제기 추토를 내가 제기지나 니들 로마 참아지 다 니사가도 따뜻하고 가도 되니서 가고 배 세발 자체보다 추토 로마 참아지 세부 찾기요에 다다 인지 대나이 로마 냐서를 바탕지게 맞추면 해봐 네 남리 제리 심지 탐지를 피고 something 심지 탐지 내와다 내라고 나들 죽는 냐미잖아 잡을래는 심지도 차고 세부 상태 고래 상태 가리죠 땅 나랑 심는 고소 상태 제점 제바 대sam지들이 상태가 고소 잡고 요래서 배 가래래 배를 차단심했던 로래서 상태우나 차단도 로를 탁과 매나요 매대 가서 이진 로고요 김사래서 야 상태 핀수면은 그래 탁과 잡내로 파그 판생 요래 샘그 상태가 탁과 됐다 짜치고 상태에 하고로 상태에 오 돈로서한테 탑하면은 매대 가서 일을 도고도 대답했더니 상태가 유지돼 하고는 오다스 대냐도 상태가 고도 선배다 시합대다이 신경이 이암기 신경이 남도 신경이 시바대 상계 난거 사계 사제기 뭐 시합 추진이 뭐 상계 다 상바된 신경이 유지 인을 피고 상주로 되겠더니 차로 차 타고요 말이 대성들을 대센터 사드 도고요 자체를 도고요 자체는 나도 가래잖아 나도 저런 루루 제가 도를 쇼공을 빼세다 왜 특히 이비 로세면은 생동관이들어서 하고나요 했더니 양 진상 체제들이 양 잡고 차로 차요 대상지 기계 돈이 가르쳐 버려서 돈이 가르쳐버려, 니지 가르쳐버려, 동생을 내놓고, 그래서 모두 대 상계에서, 뒤쪽으로 다 상제 오고, 뒤 추에서, 추진이고 삼형제를 잡선 좋지 사직이는 뭐 시합을 잡서다 잡동은 대 트리오레 대회에서 와서 성공 조박감이 다 시합대 글씨 곰테리에서 나글 라마테리에서 라마다 트리바라 신성 저기에서 하고라 그 디시들이 야자들 그 사자치면 드시들 자야 요래 당고티 될 남들 상훈지 요바데 기초에
For example, if you're a disciple who came here to receive teachings, then you might just think that I'm here today to receive this teaching, and that is the extent of your thought, and you just think I'm here to get the teachings. But then, for example, if you work for the center who organizes the teachings, then you will think about everyone else here too. All the disciples who came here to receive teachings. Does everybody have a cushion to sit on? Is there anything that they need, anything I need to do for them, and so on? So their mind is very vast. It pervades them all, self and other. And so a practitioner, a disciple who does not consider oneself as like the main being, a principle, would then think that even though I'm here to practice for the benefit of all sentient beings. Because we do always say, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. So I came here to practice in order to develop love, because that is what this world needs in order to find peace and happiness in their minds. All beings need to develop love. And if you develop love, the greater your own love, the more it will pervade sentient beings. And it will affect them. For example, a cat and a dog are animals. But if you have a bond of love with them, like if it's your pet, then they will follow you around wherever you go. You won't even need a leash. You don't have to put them on a chain or so. They will just naturally follow you around. So that's actually quite a strange experience, that even though you don't need to tell them to come, they come anyways. And that's because there is love. And if there is no love, then even if you tie them up to a leash, they will try to get away. They will pull away anyways. So that rope that connects us, this bond, is the bond of love. That's the real leash, actually. That is very precious. So this is how you can understand the quality, the importance of love. And so in the refuge card, for example, it is said that the essence of the Buddha is your own awareness. Your wisdom awareness, that is the Buddha you take refuge in. That's your inner Buddha within your own mind. And it's the awareness that recognizes whatever thoughts arise in your mind. And then the card, it also says, I take refuge in the essence of the Dharma, that is love and compassion. So if you always have this wish of benefiting others, the mind cannot freeze into an ice block. And if it doesn't freeze, it will become increasingly clear. And as it becomes clear, it becomes increasingly vast. And when the mind is vast and clear, then it is in a very relaxed, released state. And then whatever thoughts arise within that state, you will not cling to them, because the mind is like warm water that naturally melts the ice block. If there is no altruism, even if you understand that the mind is empty, when you encounter any condition, very quickly the mind will freeze again into an ice block. When you encounter a negative circumstance, immediately a very powerful afflictive emotion will again arise and make the mind freeze into an ice block. So what is more important? Is it emptiness, to understand emptiness, or to understand compassion? It clearly is compassion. So we take refuge in the Buddha, which is the awareness that recognizes whatever arises within the mind. And we need the Dharma, we take refuge in the Dharma, which is love and compassion. And that's really the essence of the refuge vow on our refuge card. So also when we are introduced to the nature of the mind, then we are introduced to that, the essence of this mindfulness, of this awareness. And that is the actual Guru. And so in that way we understand that the Guru's mind, the Buddha's mind, and one's own mind are one. So that is how we are introduced to the nature of Mahamudra first. So we need to develop this union of awareness, of wisdom and compassion.
Deva ke jo kangre, dungi ke jo, ta zang ko deva goz, deva ke jo kangre, o, ta samti ke yung di shi le, deva chung di ta samti ke jo le, jo ta tak chi tong ko nam to tak chi tang ni, o, deva jo kora chong ko o, samti ke jo, deva ta, Rinpoche ni chung di ta, tori ke yung di tang ki samti ke jo yo le, dungi jo kare le, o, yung mo pa le, 다 시장 차도온 게 다는 잡을 동네 싸우거든. 어디 역할을 해. 시장을 해. 차도를 해. 가도 다랑 라주라 요사레스. 다 니마지 지역감이 저기 다 시장도 차도 지역감네. 오 레스 다 랩송스코. 가도 다 랩송스. 그만 내 봤다네. 대상으로 마땅치. 해당 그런 중지 시기인데 다 유모 받은 거 저기 정시 받아. 이 중지잖아. 다내 도인의 시기등에 사고만 다 사고만 돼. 오. 주등에 먹고 다 유모 받아 하고는 유모 kwa는 거라. 때네. 때그 유모지 쳐다보지 미로 요래. 시바스 쪽으로 유모 중 통화서 그들이 유모 라로 그래. 다 까들이 유모 찍라 터나 다지 또 참았다 싫었다 또 채우고 요래 싫었지 매로 그래 들이들 유모 어디 부실로 그래 야나 오 매칠칠로 하 시당은 지니 하장 sem싸고 나도 또니 오 시당 코란 게 sem싸고 땅송지 오 시당은 핀송선 뒤 양용대 커네 다 가디는 세여적 강의 가른치나 강의 체육감이 나도 가오다 강의 체육감이 다 들지 못송나 그때 나도 세여적동에 가세우네 들이 속들이 냠토 그래 따뜻 받다 왜 바로 속고 요래 남 사자친 용기는 쓰이네 뒤 냠용도 들이 곰냠용 곰주 받았어 따와하고 싶어하는 것은 곰들다 나도 진이상 체스 하고 다 나도 너무 가르쳐 때 무슨 이렇게 해야 돼. 뒤 갖고는 무엇이지 될 나오리. 막시 무엇이 어디 무엇이라더니 댕토 소대 잡아서 적신이나 뭐 때제도 무엇이지 될 나오리. 좋다고요 말이야. 동일로 오르네. 자 토너들 락잡해 주고도 멘다 요지 됐더니 배나 돌아다니는 자꾸 요래 시랍 배도 동시고래 사자치고 뭐시죠 레라고 요래 신하들이라 잡혀 주고는 돌아로 요래
And so what is important to know is that that we know how to in a sense, make use of our awareness. We put it to use. And so for that, we have to first understand what is the cause of happiness and what is the cause of suffering, because we all want to have happiness. And so there is a cause, and that cause of happiness is love. And so when you look at your mind, and you have to really recognize and look at whatever thoughts there are in your mind, and recognize each of these thoughts as a cause for something. And so this thought of love and compassion is the cause of happiness. It is the cause that leads to all of the good qualities, all the goodness in the higher realms, such as the human body and so on. And what is the cause of suffering? The afflictive emotions, hatred and jealousy and so on. So when you think about the suffering in this world, what caused it? It is caused mainly by hatred and jealousy. And where are those emotions? They're probably also in my own mind. And you see them, although they remain hidden for the most part, but one day when you encounter a condition, then they arise. Then you get angry, then you get jealous. And then you have to recognize those negative emotions. So don't think that, oh, this person is insulting me or is doing this or that to me, is harming me. But be aware of the fault of the anger that arises. And so you would think that I'm not going to intentionally eat poison, right? So if you don't want to experience suffering, then you have to recognize the fault of the afflictive emotion and then just rest in its nature, observing it, and it will disappear just like a wave on water. So sustaining awareness is most important. With awareness, you will be able to see the faults in the affliction. And when you see that very clearly, the affliction will be lost. And if you're able to let go of one affliction, then that increases the strength of your awareness. The awareness is like fire, and the afflictive emotions are like wood. And so as you keep putting wood into the fire becomes stronger. And so later then you realize that actually the anger, for example, has actually enhanced the strength of my awareness. So actually it was beneficial, because first you get angry, and then that anger itself, that makes your mind be very clear. That anger, that destroys all other thoughts. And when the anger is gone, what remains is a state of utter clarity. And that is made by the anger. The anger has made the mind very clear. And then you realize that actually the anger itself has really benefited my practice. So that's the experience to be gained. For example, when you encounter a problem, an outer circumstance, then you get angry at that, for example. And that anger stops all other thoughts. And so then in that moment you have to grasp the essence of that anger. And then when you look at it, then no matter how difficult the circumstance is, you will in a way see it all as just like a fleeting cloud that will vanish on its own. So everything eventually really becomes sort of the same. And so this is how we really practice Mahamudra. We first must understand the view, the nature of the mind. And then we have to practice it, we meditate. And what is crucial then is to bring this practice into your daily life. It actually has to be applied. It is that the extent of your realization of the mind will be known in the face of difficult circumstances, negative circumstances. So actually, to recognize thoughts and afflictive emotions is actually quite easy. Most of us can recognize our thoughts and afflictive emotions. But as it is said in the Dzogchen teachings, what's more difficult is to gain the assurance, the confidence in liberating those thoughts and emotions. So this is from the 3 statements that strike the vital point. And so the first and the second, which is to recognize and to decide upon it, that is quite easy, but where we run into difficulties is when it comes to real release of them, really letting them go. And if we can't let them go, if we can't release them, then our recognition in a way becomes really useless. For example, it's like when you have a weapon in your hand and you run into an enemy, but you don't use your weapon, then the weapon in a way becomes useless. So your tool becomes useless. So you have to also learn how to apply the tool of awareness. And otherwise it becomes useless. And so Mahamudra is easily recognized, but in a way that recognition becomes really useless if you're not actually applying the tool of awareness in your daily life.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.
רבע שעה, 20 דקות.
데리다다 사자체 뭐 딱 그쪽 곰작해요. 네 곰작해요. 곰지는 데리다다 샤네 띵진자 띵미 나서와 데리 양물 사이께를 나서와 곰지와테 곰회 사자 전부다 사자 전부시 봐대 생각 내려고 따가요래 될라 먹음바 고바치고 그냥 먹음바데 고브레 사실 몰라 셈을 깨양 셈라데 줄아서 라다지 바디 셈 나도 탐지당 자와 뒤에서 하고나 나도 대방가 마와 맞게 뒤하고나 들 제일들이 네 탑게드나 상제의 형보 시라도 팔아서 말라 드네 요지 가래들 생고 내려도 동아 드네 토마 드네 샘 남도 매와차 남도 매 동사상도 차을 때싸우 하고 그시바데 윤통통 하장 통통 말에 윤통통은 대양 남도 양 윤통통을 차는 데니까 뒤발 그냥 맞다. 도구요래. 데리들이 영당도 공소나. 데리 남도 요건 안 넣어봐매야. 데리 대인념 역시 남도 요건 넣어봐요나 상태는 잡아서봤다. 데리 데리는 용도 남도 잡아서 되는 만지는 넣어봐매봐. 지는 넣어봐요봐. 대인념 대래. 데리 빼가지 않는 빼나. 딜람과 치원나나데 모라만 보러서데 데리들 모라게 넘버 하고거는 데리 빼 탕치게 또 모라들인데 데리 저기니 모라네 버다고는 가는 따무고는 모라 가세 자타바샤도 가는 데 밤에와 오제 세븐 지나 나도 너거도 마진 나도 가는 나도 내 밤도 옥상 디냐는 이바테 대토는 드네 나도 탕로체 이 나도 라미 인게네 마샤바 연구요에 데르드니 이제 사자 침보서 데드니 다다 무서운 게곰 내려다네 나도 머지니 생내로 시바사고 대종래 디냐명도 제 양나 니톡 감니 양 뒤돌아 하미가 lep로요 섬들이 좋고 돌아 양은 생각 하자 내와 처와침보 요박감니 양 뒤돌아 lep로요 놀라 내와 셔바 sem나도 가서 용나들이 생기 주고 차앙을 동네에 나도 웃어요 해서 나도 웃으면 나도 양 머지나 나도 내봐 매봐 진념용 뭐 소안들이 예를 들어서 야는 코변도 빠져와도 사자체 공식 요지게 코와를 돌돌해서 코와시와는 너도 니운 자공 니운을 톡야 야 저쪽은 자공 뭐 톡톡톡톡 저거자 그래서 코를 쳤대서 뭐 보통 치마를 신네 운해에서 망운해서 콩운해에서 그거를 삼지에 운해에서 뭐 도보래서 양도 바탕이 문에 되게 자리 되게 차당도 봐대. 차당도 봐 깨네요. 무보다 치마 매나 힘도 요래. 무보다 치마 매가 가야도 거지. 자완의 생광 나가다 님에와 하거나 적니나 샘을 님에와 하거나 그래서 동보쪽으로 야간만 보여와나지 사제 삼적 대하고 요래. 로아족 참아들이 사제를 했어. 사제를 한 건 나와마도 진상 요 말이 인생이야. 들었지가 똑바탕 됐더니 샤를 돌 때도 이제 돈다니 차온 거래. 통되네요. 속자체 때라서 받으면 대답은 냠용들이 들이 냠용 뭐 하공지네. 냠용 탐지는 타투가 가래. 난 또 장이 가네. 마디를 셈도 바카야 마도. 대노밤이나 다 대화를 신바야 매봐. 동리라 매봐 매봐. 냠용 절 타투나 대화를 맞춰봐. 동화를 맞다와 대차온 거래. 냠용 대라 말하리 배송지 요래. 기독령아 체미라 고발롬도 줘봐 인서. 세브라 대화하다 동아이가 체미가 자나들이 지고자 싫다 해서.
So when we meditate, so then first there is this concept of I'm meditating, or they're meditating, and so we gradually we practice whatever we are familiar with. For example, we practice shamatha, for example, with a support or without a support, or we practice the visualization of the deity and so on. And so when we practice Mahamudra, we look at the mind directly, and that is called the greatest meditation is non-meditation, where there is nothing whatsoever to meditate upon. There is no thought whatsoever in the mind. So in the Mahamudra it is said, without thinking anything, without a thought in the mind, look decisively at what lies beyond the mind. So this decisive looking is to clearly know the thought-free mind. All thoughts have stopped and no thought has arisen, no future thought has arisen. Then you discover the actual nature of the mind and you decide upon it. And that awareness is the essence of the Buddha, or we call it the perfection of wisdom. When you see the nature of the mind, it is a state that you see that is experienced without any thought. It becomes completely empty. And there is a clear knowing awareness that is present in the beginning for just a short time. And then again a thought arises. But this short recognition is like recognizing like a mother, someone that you know. And then you habituate to that again and again. And the experience that you gain then, in fact the best experience to be gained, is when even though thoughts are present, thoughts do not affect you in one or the other way. When you are affected by thoughts, it is a sign of grasping, of fixation. When you are not grasping at thoughts, they do not affect you in any way. And if you grasp, then they do affect you. They disturb your mind. So that is the experience to be gained. For example, if you are on a highway, for example, there's a lot of cars coming and going. If you were to try to figure out each and every license plate's number, and this car and that car, then you would get tired really quickly. But if you just look at all the cars at once without focusing on any car, then no matter how many cars go by, they don't affect you, they don't disturb you at all. So when there is no grasping, then the presence of thoughts on their own does not disturb you or affect you in any way. So that is the experience to be gained. And then eventually, as you keep not grasping at those thoughts, eventually these thoughts will wear themselves out. They will just become exhausted and not naturally not arise anymore. So that is the basis of Mahamudra. So when you meditate, you look at your mind without grasping at whatever arises in the mind, sustaining clear awareness. That's the experience to be gained. Sometimes you actually get to the natural state of the mind naturally. For example, when you're in a deep sleep state, you naturally get to this fundamental Buddha nature. Or at other times, you get to this nature when you experience a feeling of great bliss. That is also when you get to the natural state of the mind. So in brief, now what we learn from this is that what we call bliss or happiness is the state without thinking. The less thoughts there are in your mind, the greater is the experience of bliss and happiness. And all the suffering is created by thoughts. So when there is no grasping at thoughts, the thoughts don't affect you. And this kind of experience has to be gained again and again. So you have to habituate to that experience. And that is what places the seal on, which is the seal of the great seal of which is Mahamudra, onto samsara. That seal then liberates all the knots of samsara, and you become liberated. So what we call samsara is this a dense state which is like ice blocks floating on the water. When there's many ice blocks floating on the water, they occasionally bump into each other and there is conflict, there is suffering. And so that is when we believe in the true solid existence of samsaric phenomena. We think that something is real. For example, I am a real person, that's me, that's him, he's real, he's my friend, I really love him, that love is real. And that person is harming me, so he's an enemy, he's really harming me. So we are caught up in attachment and aversion. And that is because we believe in the reality of how things are to us. And so if you do not believe in that, then naturally all fixations and those thoughts regarding those appearances will collapse. So that state that is free from disbelief in a reality is based on an understanding that the mind is like space and there is no duality between self and other. There is just a duality in terms of bodies, but not within the mind. For example, how the Buddhas have understood it, it is like one tree that has many different branches. And actually all the beings in the 6 realms by nature are actually Buddhas. And what they experience is nothing else but their own self-projections, their own appearances, and nothing else, no other. There is no division between self and other. And when you realize that, then all appearances are liberated upon arising. And then whatever appears is seen as appearing, yet lacking any true existence, like a rainbow in the sky. So you still see or experience form, sound, smell, touch, and so on, but it all doesn't affect you in any way. And so that kind of experience has to be habituated. And then the ultimate experience to be gained, the actual experience to be gained, is just that. It is not to grasp at whatever thought arises and then to gain the experience that when there is no grasping, then the thought on its own, the thought itself, does not affect you in any way. And then when it doesn't affect you, then you will not be attached to the experience of pleasure, and you will not be afraid of the experience of pain or suffering. It will not affect you negatively in any way. So that's actually the best experience to be gained, to not grasp at anything whatsoever. So Milarepa had said, when you realize that when there is no difference between happiness and sadness or suffering, then that is the mastering, the perfection of meditation. And so when that happens, when it all becomes equal or the same, it is a sign of having reached like the limit of meditation, having perfected meditation.
다이 시바사보티 삼의 톱소용에 톱소용 삼의 라고 차쇼 라고 나눴다. 나도 50기 시바사보.
So now, have you now all found this clear awareness that recognizes all thoughts? And please raise your hand if so.
시바사보 마톱이 왜?
Is there anyone who has not found the clear awareness?
왜? 다 그냥 마톱 사람이 대시바대. 마톱 사람이 시바대. 톱 사람이 시바대. 마톱 사람이 시바지 가까이 오면 마톱 사람이 데렸다. 톱아종 사람이 대 시바대.
So you think that I have not found it, but that is it. That is the clear awareness, the one that thinks that. And then if you think that you have found it, then it's also that awareness that thinks I have found it. So the awareness, that the clear awareness is the same. The one that thinks either I have not found it or I have found it is the same awareness. So just look at the one who thinks that I have not found it.
남도다 50기 시반이 가라래. 남도 샤용을 빼는 남도 샤용을 빼는 며칠 시당랑나 오 시당지 감이 시바되게 오 근데 시당을 지키기 시바되 요래 지 시바되다 남도 자상 시바지 그래 제가 남도 가르쳐 때 시바되 첫때니 어때 남도 대레시 시당을 차도를 때 삼제리 딱지 가까시 시바지다 다 미자나 시바지 쭉바쭉장래 대하고 그래 대하고니 다 비도 가래요 그래들 되게 청와도 좋아요 가하고 그래 청와대는 빼나 시당대 오 시당대 하바고나 시당 딱 벌써는 되게 땅 청송대 서봐 맞기 봐 차오 무슨 도마사자 시당 심지 시바사고 되게 하고서는 시바가 시당 중심 시당이 코상 매일 밤마다 시당 칠 때는 시당 남상 미소 초는 첨도는 매반하기 다른 시당들도 초와 매반하기 차용을 되게 좋을지 청와도 좋아하니 제발 가리 시바한테 따고 뭐 맛이 딱 버린 책도 그렇지 내용을 세부터는 청와 내용을 내 담아 봐지 다시나 뭐 시바한테 파욕도 그 식차에 별로 쳐다랍나 비쪽반에 나도 신신이 가까이 오면 대 시바한테는 남들 봐서 내가 좋아 좋으들이 좋아하면 딱 맞춰요 거 요래 뒤쳐버린 청와도 좋아하니 집안에다 시바사고 내가 하고 그래 가리도 좋아하지 하고는 오 네가 그 좋아 너네 좋아하고 오 대신 깜뜨는 것이 심히 시바세를 찾다 오 시바 공사제래 공로 조르는 거래 그게 짓을 하는 말이 코랑지 저세배가 요래 딱걸 시바사 어디서 때를 곰지 이제 나걸 시바사 어디 주세매 봐 지나들 봐요 봐서
So first of all, you're making first of all there appears to be a separation between the thoughts and the awareness that recognizes those thoughts. So a thought arises, for example, anger arises, and then there's an awareness that recognizes the anger. Oh, I'm angry. There's anger. So there might be 100 thoughts, but there is only one awareness that recognizes them all. So whatever thought arises, look at the awareness that recognizes them. And so there is this awareness that knows that this is anger, or this is jealousy, or this is love and compassion. And so it is like 100 people having one mind, exactly the same. And so knowing that, the benefit of knowing that is that then you will clearly be able to discern what is the difference between liberation and being in bondage. Being in bondage, being tied up by your thoughts, is that when anger, for example, arises, if you don't recognize it, then the anger will always remain within your mind. You are in bondage. And then whenever you see the person that you're angry at, then instantly you will feel uncomfortable, unhappy when you see that person. So if you have awareness, then you would recognize the anger with clear awareness. This is anger. And then you would not focus on the person, but you would look at the anger. And without thinking anything, directly looking at the anger, it almost then appears as though the anger is not even really there. It is like there's nothing there. And then when it disappears and it leaves no feeling behind, that is then liberation. So the difference, or whether or not the mind is liberated, or whether it is liberated or tied up, can be seen with the awareness. You can see, are you able to let go of the thought or not? So if there's no recognition and the thought basically remains within your mind, then you are an ordinary person. If you have awareness and you recognize, you are able to let go of the thought. And then it goes away, just like a wave subsiding into the water. And then you recognize that actually there is no difference between the thought and the awareness. So one who recognizes that is one who we call a yogin. And when the thought becomes liberated, the mind remains very clear. So we have to discern between liberation and bondage. And this difference has to do with clear awareness, how clear awareness is. So clear awareness recognizes the thoughts, it experiences them, it experiences happiness and suffering and so on. But in that moment, you sustain awareness of whatever arises. And that awareness is the Buddha. And you just don't follow whatever arises. And that awareness actually is always present. It is always there. You just need to sustain awareness of it. And when that awareness, clear awareness, is sustained, that is what we call meditation. And when meditation is sustained, then you will always be mindful or vigilant.
Chini zakar matawe eso. Tani sem namkha tawti nato tamche tatawe sem ti akona. Tani chimba yesong chimba kare chatawen chimba khode ge chtamje sem ku zuwa. Zujakpa nupi tamche ne kapta mato sung jikting tamche de jeramji tagong tawe yangmata ba jamata res. Nang chi senchini cha jana tani Tama Mataba, Jamata, three Nangi, Guadado, Doxana, Yomarin, Toto, Sama, Jodado, Madoxano, Hataki, Naya, Yore, Data, not only Trita, Cordeche, Sanchi, Tata Nawa, Sanchi, Rang, Sims, or Lines of Women, or some Titsaki, Nagison, now same the target, send it over targets, or Zonki, Sim Sartadina, Corde, Senda. Ragsem Navasiva, watch by it. Sem Nampata, Sem Nampata, the charter, didn't coordinate on the Mason, your Marie, son. The Nirag, coordinate something like a single chapter, some, they said the Chibo Chang, there are Jatavan Chibaso. Chin Nippon Chibadina, oh, then Conti child is a caress, child. 동만이한테 가르쳐 사용을 해야 되는 오 남도 다니는 뭐 봤더라 남도 때라 우보던 제만 지니 신송나 들이 데려다는 로아르독 사용을 해야 다 차송을 로아르독 사용을 해야 이제 매박에 삼세그랑지 대리 사용은 들이 다과 거산 생각하면 답지 다 사용을 해 다구지를 해서 대래 계정 매박 당부 지와 매박 받은 지와 매박 적간 거좀 맞지는 찐간 거좀 먼저봐 들이 다과 생각하면 나야 요는 통야 요래 pero 내가 진행하고 산초스부 결혼 세와 범죄 제대로 내너기 통야 요래 대삼ችን 이디요 말이지 이디 비비 계지요 말이지 무슨 이디 남도는 우고는 치만 진이 좋아서 딩무디 내가 드린 차로나지 차르더니 무슨 동행에서 용거다 달리들 때는 용거 요래지 진이번 이바 전에더니 중계 차지 나또 차서 마도는 될 레서 한 거요 봐다 도서는 돈이 임바 마도는 유몽이 봐다 돈은 이시임 봐 특히 하고 그러지 청광도 좋아하니 시합되게 저거 그래 초를 가려 생부터 다 나도 가리 사는 차라 가리 사는 샤바들 초락까지 해서 오 소화대 초마타대 디 시바팅 거야 초화디지서 말하나 들리지 초화세 매발 좋아 초화세 매들이 하자 기본이 빼라 내가 초화를 차서 뒤에한테 요 말이야 동해리 빼나 남모스이나 빼셔버려 뒤지야 빼고 차려라 오피는 게 삭기 내와서 동해기 저래 강이 마보도 전에 대화도 동해지 삼이 대화 가래 셈을 잘라 마음을 찍고 그래서 잘라 마음도 동해지 오 잘라 용을 되고 그래서 빼세다 버들이 삼이 대화들 생광을 하시거나 되잖아 들이 대화 쳐보지 들이다 사자 정보를 주고 대화 쳐보소 제따면 치바 콘테 최탐자 또만지 나진이와 맞아봐 나진이 맞아봐 전집에 치바되나더니 샘 나진이 집에 많고 하다 산속생부를 하더니 사지에 감독이 촬영을 요래 대사지 들은 집안 이성 너는 준비에 차와 시바들 진집에 시바들 차지를 타고 저던 데비 나바삼지 시바들들이 전집에 시바서
And so in that verse it says, so unless the clouds of thoughts vanish in the sky of the mind itself, the planets and stars of the two wisdoms will not shine. So those two wisdoms. So the mind, when you recognize the mind that is like space, free of all thoughts, then the two kinds of knowledge or wisdom will arise. And first there is the knowledge that knows things as they are, and that is to know that all phenomena of samsara and nirvana are created by the mind. And the entire universe and all beings appear temporarily, but being compounded phenomena, they are impermanent and will disintegrate just like a pile of dust. So their appearance is illusory. And likewise, sentient beings are impermanent and therefore they are illusory. So just like clouds in the sky, they will vanish, disappear. And so even though we think that things are here and this world is here, it will disintegrate. And then even though we might think that nothing is there, then still things appear. So there is something appearing. So things appear, but they are empty of self-nature. Or in the 37 practices, it says, appearances are one's own mind. So we have to realize that appearances are the mind, and that mind itself is empty of self-nature. Also, and this is how it is explained in the Dzogchen teachings. When you look at your mind, then you see the mind from which all of samsara and nirvana arises. So all of these appearances of samsara and nirvana and the nature of your own consciousness actually have the same nature. And that consciousness pervades everything, like space. All phenomena of samsara and nirvana are encompassed by it. So when you look at the mind and you experience this vastness of the mind, then now you experience how your mind pervades everything, and that experience is very blissful. So that is the wisdom that knows things as they are, knowing that the true nature of all phenomena of samsara and nirvana. And then there is the that second knowledge that knows all, that knows everything in its extent, that knows everything there is. So then, even though you know the nature of things, then the question really rises, like, why do those things appear, those phenomena of samsara and nirvana? If everything is empty, so the nature is empty, then why do appearances appear? It is because when the cause is created, when the cause of thoughts and afflictive emotions arise, and we cling to them, believing in their reality, then that leads to the appearance of the 6 realms of samsara, like a temporary ice block. So when there is no belief in such a duality, no grasping at a duality, and love arises, then naturally that leads to the appearance of the pure lands and the pure forms, the pure illusory forms. The pure illusory form actually transcends birth and death. It does not arise, is not born from causes, and is not destroyed by conditions. So the appearances of the Pure Lands, they do appear, we can see them and experience them, but they are experienced from a non-dual perspective. For example, Devachen, the Pure Land of Sukhavati, you do see, when you experience Devachen, you do experience the appearance of hundreds of millions of bodhisattvas there, for example. You can see them, but you perceive them without dualistic perception. And so that mind that is without dualistic perception is beyond birth and death. And so when a dualistic perception is present and that arises, then temporarily, on the basis of a body and so on, one will have to experience actual suffering. So that is when the most subtlest of thoughts are not liberated, then you are continuing to accumulate karma. And when these thoughts are liberated, then also the thoughts become empty. So the cause becomes empty. They are liberated with awareness. So when they are liberated, you are abiding in awareness. And when they are not liberated, when you are in bondage, when they tie you down, then you are afflicted. And so that difference between bondage and liberation has to be recognized with awareness. Awareness has to recognize all the coarse and subtle thoughts that arise in the mind. Now, what kind of feeling arises? What kind of feeling is generated within you? And when that feeling, when any kind of feeling arises, then immediately, instantly as it arises, you don't pursue it. You don't follow it at all. And if you don't pursue it as it arises, instantly don't pursue it, then the feeling will also go away instantly. And then you remain in a very happy, blissful state. And that's actually the supreme bliss. And that is unlike the ordinary bliss. When we are attached to something, attached to pleasure, then first there is an experience of bliss and pleasure, but then that will disintegrate quickly, and in the end it always leads to suffering. For example, if you are really attached to the taste of sweetness, then first it tastes nice, but then it leads to a lot of sickness and difficulties. So it is said that this defiled kind of bliss or pleasure is always the cause of suffering. And then also it is acquired only through a lot of effort, which also is suffering by nature actually. For example, if you have a lot of things that you think will bring you happiness, actually they're obtaining those things and then losing those things and so on. All of that is actually suffering in the end. So everything that is defiled pleasure in this sense is the nature of suffering. And the blissful nature of the mind is undefiled by that. It always remains because it is your natural state. So we call it great bliss, the great bliss of the Dharmakaya, and that is the nature of Mahamudra. So the knowledge that knows things as they are knows the empty nature of all phenomena of samsara and nirvana. It knows that self and other are non-dual, not separate. And then the wisdom that knows things in all their extent, however many things there are, knows that when self-grasping arises, that is the cause of samsara. And the Buddhas and the Pure Lands and so on are the natural manifestation of bodhicitta. So in brief, what is important now for us to understand these two kinds of knowledge is, in brief, it is important to recognize even the most subtlest of thoughts, the very subtle thought formations that arise. And if we recognize them, we will not accumulate karma.
Tata nam tok shiba de sawon zin tok rong ma tok rong shiba sawo de ke nyumo chongwa de zhuwa jia so sha so to gre ben doge yong sem nga doge dok sa ha ho yo le doge de pa sang o ta nga de doge de ma dok sang ha ho to yo le shiba de la ti ni de nam to lo lo de ma sem so go yo le che toga mare pena pawa jowa shiba samse sotar sansin saha sum lamur ba sum go ton tere kashi ka saja jongre ha ko sana tini shiba ate o nam to go ram ji de nyumo ma kare ki ma ha ko sona tekari ja jana lamsang tini chola la ge shel do he de ta saha shiba ate 유모 이시스 시바드 되래 무슨 유모 이시는 저러되나 라고 초고요 가리죠 야 세상 최고들 나오는 깝지를 하고 속네 세상 매야가 개목에 타봐 semkayangpo tesa wishanga tati shibaati limong ishiti shibaati di nyumuwa pengi yoret jwaati na ta ngi tesore di lamsangsi shitsa wame dokti tarunga nyumuwa dega dokti semna ta jwaati sansengu jwaaso ta samba semi yangtang gomne tili subji tamti ta rani yenengwa tsangmaranga nangmanangji tsowaada kego yore nangmanangji tsowaada kena ki di tsowaadi tengdeni ta mizika tsokno patanga ta pamamazi bachika yo maris pen raga pogozoge tenang patanga maatike maa pogozoge ka nyoda kase nuna tere konsolang toksi yo mari pete tawe sambala tini 드리지 숨지다게 포마마디바 요마레스 데라 즉 랑은이 뉴모바테게 레 소설 미용요레스 뉴모바테 소설동네 저리스 니니 뉴모바테 열 탐제되는 은혜라고 괜찮아 찾아레스 다 살라니 소들만 나지 포마마디바 치도 만남 과다냐 베센지 탐제들 때는 유모가 깨그래 깨나실 랍상 그래 색토고요래 야 때는 저와서 사실을 남는 저와서 때는 사족세 사바체미 줄었잖아 들이 배나 마그 보고텔라 노송동거나 세나요 말이 저마창거 요래지 데르데르 멀리로 보티를 롱주 토고 요래지 마제가 보고텔 누바 간땅 토고 요 말이 간 핀핀서 요래지 데르 지섬창거 요래지 지섬들이 멀리 저마라들이 롱주 토리 저니 데르 차고 요래지 다 보고텔 쪼바탐지 당하는 곳에 가라스고 요래 보고서 소바 탐지들이 나가 라바가 보자 타고 요래 드니 요다 같이 하는 보고서 콘솔랑 타고 요 말다 즈바라 드니 조장보 체응보 동지바 드니 나사베바 저바 저저 저바스는 드니 토리를 용띠 남지게 될 토병고 요래 배나 그 사마가 뭐 드니 용띠 남지게 창고를 마주파들이 쌈지도 이제 바동고게 지성송고 소바 공고 쌈고 말이 쌈지랑 인들이 돌리는 창고 요래 됐다 상속 책고 들어와서 그럼 코사와지 제나 사마들이 파싱을 하는 저거 보고서를 지원하기 sep기 통치 보고 맞아 봐 직장에 하고 드린 것을 쳐봤지 드리랑 그 매만 같이 놀라고 낭적은 매나지 잡는 sep기도 속착할지 쳐봤지 요래 제성치 저와 됐더니 남이 그 파싱을 하는 점도로 그랬지.
So we have to recognize now whether we are in bondage or in liberation, we can know by recognizing whether or not we are able to let go of thoughts and emotions that arise. So we must recognize, and we can recognize, for example, you know I'm suffering now. And then when you're not suffering, then you know that today I'm doing well, I'm not suffering. So that's something that you can know, you understand that. There's an awareness that knows that. And so basically there's 3 different ways whereby we can liberate thoughts and emotions. So we have to apply whichever one works for us. It's not the case that one works for everyone. So those 3 different ways are called abandoning, transforming, and knowing. And they correspond to the 3 levels of the path of individual liberation, the bodhisattvas, and the Vajrayana path. And that's the reason why there are 3 different levels of the path. So if someone who really has understood Mahamudra, for them it is sufficient to only sustain clear awareness. With clear awareness they will recognize the true nature of whatever thought and emotion arises, and recognizing that they right there and then they're able to just let it be and not follow it. And if you just let it be, then the thought will subside just like a wave on water. That is what we call recognizing, knowing the nature of the afflictive emotions to be primordial awareness. Or we call it afflictive emotions are transformed into primordial awareness. So it is this feeling that arises that you let them be. You're able to let go and let those thoughts be as they are. For example, when you get very angry, and then you recognize this anger, and the very moment it arises, you already recognize it. And in that case, the anger is instantly gone. And then what remains is this clear state that makes you even laugh out loud. Or the mind becomes very light. So it is in this way that awareness knows the nature of afflictive emotions to be primordial awareness. And then from that perspective, the afflictive emotions are actually an enhancement to one's practice. And then the second method is the method of transformation. And so here, if that is suitable for you, if you feel that I'm not able to let go of the affliction instantly, I'm not able to recognize its nature as it arises, and the afflictive emotion still does remain in my mind, in that case, you transform them through bodhicitta, through remembering immeasurable love again and again, remembering that all sentient beings have been your family. So you feel no closeness to some or distance to others, but you see them all just like a family. And so then that feeling actually arises. So even if there is a person who seems to harm you, you would still feel that this person still has been my parent. For example, if you have like a child that is really causing a lot of trouble, then no matter how obnoxious the child is, the mother can't really hate the child ever because she loves the child. And so similarly, through boundless love, you recognize that all sentient beings have been your parents. So then for yourself, from your own perspective, you recognize that if I follow this negative emotion, then karma will ripen. This afflictive emotion is the cause of my own suffering. And then secondly, with regard to the other person, you recognize that the object of my anger, like the other person, actually also has been a kind mother in a previous life. So that's how it is also taught in the 37 Bodhisattva practices. All beings have been our parents. We speak about all mother sentient beings. So of course afflictive emotions still do arise, but through reflecting in this way, we can gradually make them dissolve. So this is the path of transformation of the Bodhisattvas. So you develop immeasurable love. And actually within this quality of love, all the other parameters are naturally complete. And so the point here is that they are naturally complete. For example, a mother loves her child. So naturally, she will spare no expense and will not be stingy. She will give everything to the child. And that naturally is the perfection of generosity. And as a result of that, in future lives, she will find wealth. And then because she loves her child, she will not be able to hurt that child. She will actually try to benefit the child as much as she can. And that naturally is ethical discipline. And as a result of that, she will find the precious human body. So now we already have two causes of the higher realms. And then the child often is dirty or filthy, and so normally we would, when we would wipe, we would wipe something off with a cloth, for example. We wouldn't use our hand, but a mother would use her hand, and no matter how difficult it is, she would never really hate the child. So that is patience. And if you practice patience, as a result, you will in future lives have a long lifespan. You will have harmonious companions and a beautiful appearance, fewer illnesses, and so on. So in this way, through having practiced generosity, ethical discipline, and patience, you have naturally created the qualities of the higher realms. And all of that, the essence of all of that is love. And so we have said naturally, which means there is actually no need to have a deliberate intention thinking of, I need to practice generosity, or I need to practice ethical discipline, or I need to practice patience. There is no such a thought. It naturally just happens because there is love. So when there is love and compassion as the basis, then all of these qualities of the 6 parameters, they will naturally arise. So that is the path of transformation, whereby all samsaric activities become the practice of the 6 parameters. So here you recognize that all beings have been, for example, your child or your mother. And that's a real feeling that arises. And that feeling must actually arise. And when that feeling arises, then whoever you meet, be it a human or an animal and so on, you will feel as though they are your actual family. So that is the path of transformation, or the path of the paramitas.
There somebody that Bangji, Bawang Gangli, that's the Shibasawa take it to down. Doing towers, you know, the jet cars of that penna. No one been doubling to what jagger, the carriage jagger, Shetanga, Tado Jackie, ya. Did Jokado, so Shetang dogs. Oh, Tata don't even know, Mount, but just lives home with us home, the young dogs. Ya, Kashil told me, Besame, Jopame, Jacob Carson, Angichi, Lekamotop. 보충들이 용띠님으로 당호로 달아서 들이 야 차례들이 강의 책이 요래 특강의 수업을 야 다리 뒤먹게 용띠님으로 야 자시 당당 시당당 차도를 들이들이 나를 도다 뭐 가자 야 인터 참아도 차라 들이들이 인터 참아서 좁으면서 야 마진이 바라더니 로조부터 때 상황 계속 가래 노차리 송송, 센날리 송송, 차도리 송송, 가와도 라고 유래 사다용 톡. 때리지 저도 뭐 시바잡지 때리 파다는지 오 유모부터 같이 토로네. 유모부터 자이바처럼 새 동네 저시더니 메도고 요지 사오는 요관하지. 때리 생문을 사오무지 생문을 요래. 생문 간 조고도 수고는 도우면서 샘는 도우려 샘는 들이 메도 상우다 유모바 가리를 진 제베면 것도 레빌 셰트 삼고 땅에 셰프가 척하고 셰프 같이 짬을 빼주도 되거든요. 유모가 빵을 타대 그때는 소설을 하는데 빵지들이 유모가 타겠다 나디를 타고 하고는 나디 마빠는 유모가 빵 타고면서 사 들이까지 임식을 놓더니 맞지요 그래 제가 매일 로그를 가다 제가 그 지왕 하마게 들이 랑게 저단지는 뒤에서다 주람등 타선도 그때다라니 소리만 나기 로고요래 돈한테 가자 가까서 소양 말이 가자 찍은 냠링께는 빵 적시섬지 가리는 참사를 안 해주고래. 그리고 소는 참사를 빵거거든. 참사를 열거거든. 참사를 시바 가래들을 낚자는 게 백두 땅 토고래. 네 라니 소주면서는 네 라니 보고 들고 송을 봐. 괜시 지위 이분 송송래. 괜시 이분 송송데 오. 다 묘모바 가래도 동해 가래도 지적하래 항상 송래. 들이대라. 다른 게, 니보, 파라드스 막쪽, 데라서 가르치는 걸 띵, 야미지야 돼. 너를 남을 봤으면 배주동, 그치, 뭐, 요래, 들이 때는, 저는 참, 요리.
And then the third method is that of abandonment. And so actually also here we are applying clear awareness in a sense. And that is because here we are recognizing what is the cause of suffering. The most subtlest of sufferings, what is its cause? And what is the cause of more coarse suffering, like the wars in this world? For example, the cause of that is hatred and jealousy. And then where are those causes? Actually, they are also in my own mind. I also have anger or hatred. And so even though right now I'm not experiencing that kind of suffering, if the seed for that kind of suffering remains within my mind, it is going to ripen in the future. The seed is going to grow into a flower. It will follow the mind. So people in this world have all kinds of different problems. Some people never find a companion. They're lonely. Some people have financial difficulties. Some people, no matter where they go, just run into difficulties and obstacles. Some people don't find a job, and some people send their children to school, but they don't want to learn. And then even when they grow up, they still encounter difficulties in society and so on. And so who has really created all of these problems? It's created by our own ignorance, essentially. For example, if you don't want to learn something, it's because of ignorance. And if you always find that you are separating from your friends, from companions, it's because of anger and jealousy. Or because if you never find any companion or any friend, then it's because of having divided people or slandered them and so on. Or if you never find any wealth, if you have financial difficulties, it's because you have stolen from others. And so the cause of all of that is within the mind. It is all caused by hatred, by stinginess, by jealousy. And these afflictive emotions are still present within our mind right now. So it's important to recognize them, to recognize that these emotions are the cause of all suffering, and therefore they are our actual and true enemy. And if you recognize that, then you will be able to let go of these afflictive emotions without paying so much attention to what is actually happening on the external level in the world. It's important to recognize the seeds of all of these difficulties within one's own mind. And that's important because later the body will not go on, but the mind must go on. And you will bring with you those seeds of afflictive emotions, and if they are present, they are going to ripen. So therefore it is important to very carefully consider karma, cause and effect. And in this way, through such consideration, put your awareness to use, utilize your awareness. So that's the method of abandonment, where you abandon the afflictive emotions according to the path of individual liberation. So you recognize that the cause of all your suffering are those afflictive emotions. And finally, you recognize that the root of all those afflictive emotions is self-grasping. And you recognize that unless I let go of my own self-grasping, the afflictive emotions are only going to increase and come again. So then gradually you begin to consider altruism. And so in this way you progress along the different steps of the path. And wherever you are on that path also depends on your practice of previous lives and various causes and conditions that shape us as beings of higher, middling, or lower mental capacities. But basically we should just follow the path of the 37 practices. And also what's important to understand is that when we speak about those 3 levels of the path or 3 methods, then we are not speaking about 3 kinds of individuals actually necessarily, but one individual evolves actually, and one individual goes through those 3 levels of the path. So they are not 3 different individuals. And actually, basically we have to abandon the afflictive emotions, and we have to apply any method to accomplish that. And so that means that at certain times we have to apply certain methods. So maybe one method doesn't work at one time, but another one works. For example, sometimes you will have to abandon the afflictive emotion. Sometimes you can transform it and so on. So you can use any of those tools at the right time, whatever works the best in that moment. But basically in the 37 practices it also says mindfulness is wielding the weapons of the antidotes. So with mindfulness you always must be ready to apply any antidote that is necessary or that is able to eliminate the afflictive emotion. So you recognize, for example, the afflictive emotion that arises, and then you abandon it by recognizing its cause. Or you apply the 6 parameters, or you transform them through bodhicitta and so on. And so this is also how I personally practice. Sometimes you use this method, sometimes another method. But whatever it takes, we have to utilize any of these methods to let go of the afflictive emotions. So for the morning, we stop the teachings here.
단도 온나들이 라마다라신 사제섬스 직도 강데 다 지시라 무슨 거래 지시가리 따따 남시들이 따따는 거게 대가 오시로 사자치 못해가라는 게 망발라 대 코랑을 남기더니 나빠다 자들이 라마다라신 사제섬 지시는 거라 하고들이 사자치 못해가 하고들이 그렇게 오래지.
So in brief, the Guru's mind, the Buddha's mind, and your own mind are one. And that is mindfulness. And that mindfulness is your consciousness, which we have been introduced to and recognized today. And that itself is Mahamudra. That is what you will recognize as Mahamudra in the future. But that itself, that consciousness, its nature is like space. So the Guru's mind, the Buddha's mind, and your own mind are one within the essence of mindfulness. And the essence of that mindfulness is Mahamudra.
Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum.